Alright, so a card that I pulled for the feminine, those little mini decks that I have, the Buddha Wisdom and the feminine's Kuan Yin, so um, can't remember verbatim, but basically what it said was like a belief system um, based on reward and punishment. So having this belief system that's based on reward and punishment. And on the card it said to reflect upon this and then let it go. So yeah, and it ties in with the narcissistic thing too. And I don't really, I mean, I could like research that, go into that, and share on them. There's plenty of stuff on narcissism if people want to research that. I like to keep it moving. So, but a couple things that I will just explain because I didn't really want to go into it too much during. I kind of wanted to focus on um, the positive aspect of releasing those things that no longer serve you. The Tower card that keeps coming up, and this is, God, Source, Creator. This is the divine will of the universe that loves you even when you think you're loving yourself, and maybe you're not quite loving yourself as much as you think you are, or in the right way, or you know what I mean. So, but anyway, with narcissistic behavior, there was a period of time I didn't, and I went into foster care, like at 9 years old. So, I'm very much removed from my family in that sense. Okay. And there was a period of 10 years during my, well, pretty much, so I got back in touch with them in my late 30s. So yeah, it must have been, since my late 20s. Yeah, there's 10 years where, so, yeah, where I didn't have any correspondence with my father whatsoever. No email, nothing. Not a card, not a phone call, not nothing for 10 years. So, and I was fine with that. It wasn't an anger thing. It was just, and I'm kind of returning to that, but in a releasing with love way, whereas it wasn't that I was angry, but I didn't know really what I was. Okay, so now it's come like full circle to this point where it's like, okay, when God gave me Rivka, it was like we'd been back in touch again for a few years, okay, and went back out there and lived with him, and he's still the just same very low vibrational person. We'll just say that, okay, because we're not putting any judgment on it. But ever since I was a wee little lassie, whatever I was, I don't know, when you're a kid, you're whatever. I was just channeling a boy saying that, I guess. But yeah, when I was a wee little one, I had dreams of, well, the one when I think I was about 3 when I had the one with my mother and I on a raft, and she just had like a cloak on, like a blanket wrapped around her, and we were just on this dark water, and it was just a moderate temperature is like big Nibiru in the sky, and like a black red sky, and then like a dark red giant like planet or sun looking thing. And I just remember being on this water that looked black, and seeing my mom's eyes that also looked black. And I've had several dreams actually about my dad having the same eyes. When I look into his eyes in my dream, and they have black eyes. So whatever that means, I don't know. They have dark souls, and yeah, I chose a hard bloodline to be born into, a lot of bad karma and pain and a lot, just as many of us have, right? So I guess it just feels more empowering to say that we chose it and wrote it, and yeah, right? Because, yeah, what am I doing wrong to keep attracting narcissists into my life? I don't know. The only person that I talk to is my dad, and that's the narcissist. I mean, how do I keep attracting my dad who had me into my life? Okay, so, I mean, that's why I don't really believe in psychology, because you get to a certain point to where it's just like flat earthers. Okay, well then you can't talk about the moon and the stars and anything either, and you can't believe in astrology, and you can't. So it just gets to a point where it's just like, it's whatever. You just go. That's why I just go with my guidance. It doesn't even need to make sense to anybody. It doesn't even need to make sense to me. But I know when I'm divinely guided to do something, and that's what I go with. So, the thing with the Rivka now in the Hebrew, in the Tanakh, in the Torah, in the Hebrew Bible, okay, not the King James, all right? All hail to, yes, Master King James, okay? I'm just saying. In the Hebrew, okay? See, the King James, you just read that. There's so much left out of that. But anyway, we're not going to go on that. But the Hebrew, okay? There's so many little minute, fine details and texture, okay? That it's almost like a completely different meaning to the story, okay? And in the Hebrew, Rivka is long-suffering with her dysfunctional family, okay? And she's the only one, and she's just like the black sheep, but she's like the white sheep in the black sheep family, or whatever, just according to the saying, not melanation or anything, or albinism with the white sheep. I don't know. Oh, but apparently, okay, so where like if you shave a dog, because yeah, but I guess where the dark patches are, it's like purple dark. The skin is pigmented. Okay, so if you have a spotted dog, if it's ever shaved for whatever reason, it'll have lighter pigment where the white fur is. Okay, so anyway, that's just because that came up when I was like, oh my god, oh yeah, that's right. So that just popped into my head. But anyway, so Rivka is Rebecca, but the story of Rivka and Yetzirah, Rivka was long suffering with her dysfunctional family, and it just to the point of just it being ridiculous. Like really, God, I guess this is my karma. Like, until you give me some other guidance, I guess I'm just gonna keep going with this one, which is what I kept doing. Like, be, long suffering, be love unconditionally and all that. Just because you don't have someone in your life doesn't mean you don't love them unconditionally. I'll always love my father. These are probably lifetime after lifetime after lifetime of whatever, and finally it's like now, even though I got that, like, I don't even know how many months ago, but I did a little video on it, but anyway, I'm not going to search it and put the link below or whatever. But she finally was guided by God to, like, yeah, you've done your due diligence. You've been long suffering. Okay? Yes, my child. Good grasshopper. Now, keep it moving. Move along. Move forward. And she was given her husband. She was given the man that she was supposed to be with from God. Is just like so amazing to her because she was so long suffering. So not because she was long suffering, but because she just went with her guidance. And until God told her that she was free to go now, child, you've been long suffering, she stayed. Okay, so she only left because she was guided by God. It was divinely inspired. So it has nothing to do with being unforgiving, cold-hearted, being, not being long-suffering, not doing your due diligence as far as being, a good-hearted person that God wants you to be, and merciful and compassionate and all that, non-judgmental. It's nothing to do with any of that. It doesn't have to do with the label of a narcissist either, really. It's just, this is a way for the 3D mental mind to understand things, compartmentalize it, draw parallels, and see how it affects their life, or what, because this is what the left brain, the analytical mind, the frontal cortex, whatever, the neocortex, whatever, the upper regions of the brain where the higher, the thought processes happen. So we have to get past that emotional center of the amygdala, the Amy G. Dela. Get past that bitch, and then as long as we get past her, then we can get to the higher thinking. Let the thoughts process into the higher regions of the brain instead of just reacting on emotion, because that's just the first filter. So if we're reacting there, we're not... not that you don't take the emotions into account, but that's just one of the aspects. And then, then you take it all into account. Then you see the whole picture. Then you form your opinion or what have you. So this is the part of being patient with self. So, especially people who are dealing with autoimmune issues, you definitely stress. Any website you look at, the number one trigger for flare-ups is stress, okay? And the number two is environmental factors, so environmental toxins and stuff. So, and this isn't conspiracy theory, this is just... this is their, I would say, their own websites. This is their own science, do you even science website. So, yeah, across the board, number one trigger for autoimmune diseases to flare is stress, okay? Which, the number one stressor is environmental toxins, but of course, emotional stress, okay? Emotional mental stress. Which comes from whatever, family, finances, wherever it's coming from for you. But the specifics of that doesn't matter. It's the energy of it and the effects and how much power and authority you have over your own energies, okay? And that has to do with what energies you release and what energies you allow in. So, yeah, I don't allow for any invasive energies as I'm growing spiritually and evolving and moving forward on my path. Yeah, those are the things that get trimmed and cut out, okay? You don't collect as you go down the path, you release and shed, okay? So, yeah, Rivka and Yetzirah, it's a beautiful story. You should check it out in the Hebrew. I recommend, if you were to check it out, that's what I would recommend. So yeah, this idea that you're doing something wrong, or not wrong necessarily, but there's something that you're doing that keeps attracting narcissists. But I mean, narcissists are just attracted to people who are generous and loving, and but see, then they want to test it and see if that's a weakness. But like, I'm one of those, like, don't twist my kindness for weakness. No, 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 no. Even though I'm forgiving and long suffering and all that, see, people twist it and think you're weak. But I can just slice it off like that, just like ice slice, getting sliced with the ice, right? Ooh, that hurts. So, um, and what that is you're just cutting it off. You're starving it as far as you feeding it any of your energy. So, I mean, there's just lots of narcissists out there in the world. So it's like they're going to be attracted to people. And, I've attracted awesome people and I've attracted narcissistic people. But basically, like I said, really the only one in my 3D reality. I mean, even just thinking of, my two friends, they're narcissistic in their own ways too. Whereas it's like, I only hear from them when they don't have like some boyfriend action happening in their life, or drama boyfriend action happening, and everybody else is sick of talking to them and dealing with their shit, and so it's like, oh, Gretchen will listen to me, Gretchen. No, actually, no, I'm not doing that anymore. You want to pay for some services, even though I've known you since 6th grade, you're my best friend. It's one thing if we do like some trade, you did a favor for me, gave me a ride, bought me helped me out with something, and then I helped you out and I give you a reading, whatever, in a 3D reality. Okay. But like, yeah. This is what I'm saying, like my whole life, people, oh yeah, give me a massage, oh yeah, counsel me, oh yeah, like Gretchen the teacher healer, but even though I didn't know what was happening back then, and being empathic and all these labels, you want to whatever, slap labels on it, but a lot of us, this is why we've gotten so sick, or it could express itself as a drug addiction. Okay, autoimmune disease, drug addiction, it could all, these are different expressions of the same core wound. So and so yeah, I mean, I don't really necessarily subscribe to, it's always we're doing something to attract these people. No, they're just like see, I go deeper with it, the spiritual aspect of it and stuff, and so I understand it more metaphysically and spiritual too, not just like from psychological, which I don't really subscribe to it, psychology either. So for me, it's all energy, and mastering your energies and raising your vibration. You can't do that when you have people siphoning from you. So, yeah, so I explained it from the biblical aspect, for people who don't understand, that, oh, it's just about being long-suffering. No, there's other, we gotta, right, there's more to it than that. So Rivka, Rivka and her family, and that story from the Hebrew version, I recommend highly. And then again with the psychology, it's just like, nah, I don't subscribe. I don't subscribe to any kind of brainwashing, whether it's psychology or Christianity. Well, we can get biblical, and we can debate metaphysics and stuff like that, but we don't do brainwashing, babble bullshit over here. Like, if you're saying something, like, back it up with some shit, and not some Freudian, like, some real, like, fundamental wisdom. But yeah, this is not anyone in particular, a jab it. These are just common responses, commonly held beliefs or responses to, I guess just what I'm personally dealing with right now, which is something that a lot of people have had to deal with in their life. And some of you haven't and may have to in the future. Maybe people are dealing with you and you're the narcissist. Maybe that's what the downlike on that video was all about. Or it could have been someone who really wanted me to go into like narcissism, and I just was like, no, you can go do your own research if you want to know all that. I don't really care to know negative stuff. Like, that's why I don't research witchcraft or spells or any of that stuff. I only research the things that come to me in my dream, that God gives me in messages, that are divinely inspired, given to me by the divine. Yeah, because my ego is never inspired. There's no, ego-driven research never. I don't have time to try to rebuttal anybody or anything like that, because I'm constantly bombarded with messages from God that I'm researching, figuring trail of breadcrumb. It's just, so constantly in communication with God throughout the day, all day, every day, and even in my dreams and stuff, so it's just like while I'm cooking, while I'm cleaning, while I'm going to the bathroom, everything. So yeah, don't have room for nonsense. Narcissism is just nonsense. It's not even a big thing. Narcissism, narcissistic abuse. It's really just it ain't no thing. You just cut it out, and then it's like, When I did that, I was like, yeah, I have the power to do this before. It's all about divine timing, though, and when you're ready and when it's really solidified. And I pulled a couple tree oracle cards that really confirmed it, because the giant redwood was at the bottom and the sugi at the top, which is very ancient, okay, and the giant redwood, which has a lot of energy, and red, okay, Divine Mother. So that presence of just, in a very masculine, patriarchal world, like, if women don't love themselves and protect themselves, no one's going to do it, okay? This is why we need to love ourselves, protect ourselves, love and protect each other. And this is not feminist, no, but this is like what a cashier said to me at the grocery store when I'm talking about my child, and she was just like, yeah, well, because I think I mentioned vaccines or something, but she just said, yeah, if we don't protect our children, who will? Yeah, because nobody else gives a crap about your kid. They may care about their own children if they have children, if they care about their own children. They sure as hell don't give a fuck about your kids, okay? Most people don't even care enough about themselves, okay, to even care about anybody else, right? Yeah, especially in America, you see heart disease. We're smoking, we're overweight, we're drinking so much, we're on pharmaceutical drugs. Stress is the number one killer, okay? That's been my thing, is stress and cutting toxic people out of my life. Obsessing over toxic people, because you're like, it's like this, why won't you love me? It's... And then you're like, whoa, wait, like, I'm awesome. I love my own company. I find that to be true with other people that I engage with, that I feel I vibe on a certain level, which are few and far between, but so we just get so locked into getting feedback from an outside source that we can become just codependent for every aspect of our life. We're always looking for confirmation outside, everything, in a magazine, in this, in a man, from your father, from your mother, from the whatever school you graduated, your old teachers. You're always like calling up the old pastor or the old teacher or the old this or that, whatever, just whoever, whatever, So it's like, when do we finally stand on our own and know who we are and not have to go reference something to figure out where we're going to go with something, what we're going to decide, what next move we're going to make in our life. We have to go check in with what? Who's mommy? Earth. I know who my mother is. I know who my father is. I've always known my mother and father were my mother and father from a very young age. So, I know who my divine mother and father are. Okay? And they are not in the flesh. They have never been in the flesh. But they are everything that the flesh is as well. So, let's see if there's anything else I wanted to talk about. Oh, the cards, yeah. So I went off on a side tangent there. But there was two that came out together. And it was the Montezuma Cypress and the horse chestnut. So the horse chestnut, the key word, its word is consideration. The Montezuma Cypress, its key word is solidarity or solidity. So after much consideration, with the energy of Rivka given to me by God, after much consideration, horse chestnut tree, I found solidity, Montezuma Cypress. So I love the solidity after much consideration feels there's a lot of confidence there. It's not mixed up with wacky thoughts and fucked up emotions and no, you're very clear. You're very clear. So yeah, and the down like on that video it could have been, like I said, someone who really wanted to hear about narcissism and, if you're watching this and you were that person, then I recommend you research it if you want to know about it. That would be the natural, normal, like solution-oriented response to that would just go research it, not give a thumbs down to it. Or, it might have triggered, maybe it was a narcissist who was watching and they got triggered and they're like, what? You don't love narcissists? How dare you? So, and I doubt it was my dad because he doesn't watch my videos, obviously, because he asks me the same questions over and over and over and over and over, which is just, that alone is just draining. Someone who plays the victim, who's a martyr, who does the guilt trips, who only calls you because the only two friends they have in the world won't talk to them because they're sick of their shit too, so they're calling you. And then, it's just, he keeps mentioning how he's going to send me, I got these books for you. Yeah, he's been saying this for like over a year. And I don't know, it's just one of the most selfish people, if not probably the most selfish person. Yeah. Even though he's done that loving, right, they'll get the most thoughtful gift, but it's not because it's because they want to be the one who got you the most thoughtful gift. You understand? Okay? They want to have superiority over every other relationship that you have in your life. They want to have superiority over that person. Oh, I was the one who was there for you for this. I was the one who got you the best present for your birthday. I was the one who blah, 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 blah. Okay? Abandoned you and did all this and all that, right? So, and I don't do that. And I've never done that. And it's just like, and that's another thing he does too, is just like beats himself up. And it's like, I don't need to hear that either. I don't need to deal with any of it. Rivka. God gave me Rivka. Period, point blank. That's all I need to know. And that's all I need to do is go with my guidance that is given to me by God. God, right? No man, no, I don't care if it's my daddy, my twin flame, I don't care. I don't even care. But I do care about my divine guidance. So, not the only thing I care about, but it's the number one thing I care about. God is first in my life. Above all. Above husband, above father, above child, above God is first, above self. God comes first. So I just wanted to share that with all of you. I love you all. Peace be upon you all and blessings to you all.